Good Party leader Patricia de Lille has presented her party's election manifesto in an effort to win votes in the May elections. In 2019, the party managed to secure 2 seats in the National Assembly and received the majority of its support from the Western Cape province, while it hopes to broaden its political footprint during the upcoming elections. So for more, political analyst Thobani Zikalala joins us via video link to unpack the Good Party's manifesto to date. Good afternoon, Thobani. Thanks for your time on the SABC at this hour.
Good afternoon, Lizzo, and good afternoon to your viewers.
Thobani, let's look at the issues grappling South Africa. Issues of triple threats, economic growth, 30 years into democracy. Talk to us about the Good Party's ideas, including the introduction of a R1,000 basic income grant, its propositions following the manifesto launch, also its relevance in South Africa's political landscape.
I mean, of course, you speak of the triple threat challenges that grapple with South Africa. And of course, the Good Party also speaks about the idea that the changing of government will not maybe necessarily mean that the challenges of South Africa will go away. They speak about the idea of the tampering with the structure, which is maybe something that I somewhat agree with. But the problem is that you then have a political party that doesn't seem to have identified itself in a way that singles it out of the many political parties that exist in South Africa. The political arena in South Africa is so saturated with political parties that almost speak the same language. And of course, you mentioned the idea that the Good Party seems like maybe like other parties, like a regional party with major of a supporter base coming from the Western Cape, and in particular the colored minority, the colored vote of the Western Cape. I mean, now currently there is a challenge in that space because you have a situation of the emergence of the Patriotic Alliance in particular, which seems to be contesting for the same colored vote that the Patricia de Lille's Good Party is contesting for. I mean, the big thing, of course, must be that if we look at the manifesto of the Good Party, we must ask ourselves a question that's after they speak about that it needs to be altered. Some of the proposals, of course, we still have to do some investigation and examining of the proposal made, but they don't seem to tamper with the structure of the political landscape in South Africa, the structure of the economy, so that you are able to deal with the triple threat challenges that have been identified as the challenges that are back in South Africa. The key questions of this election must always be, when we look at the political party manifestos, is that how does this manifesto alter the structural patterns of this country to make sure that a new possibility is possible.
Thobani, thank you for those opening remarks. A connection doesn't seem too stable, but let me continue with this discussion and see if it will get better. So thank you for also touching on the role of the party and also how it differs from other political parties in this South Africa's political landscape. It's a point I wanted to look at. Perhaps also as we look at their performance to date, the last election, in the last election, their voter base as well, you did allude to that. It's a second election for them. They've got 2 seats in the National Assembly. What are you observing on a local, provincial and national level?
I think, as I said in the beginning, the challenge will be because this party, for example, got about 70,000 votes in its opening elections in 2019. Because of that, and the challenges that they are facing now with the colored vote and the issue of the emergence of a party like the Patriotic Alliance, which seems to be contesting in the same space, I do not think, because again, the Good Party seems like an election party that emerges just close to elections with no real political involvement in the political processes and the political game of South Africa as it emerges, which makes it difficult for its identification and its responses in the political issues that face impact in the country. I mean, in that space, you have a PA which seems to have been very active in trying to make sure that they galvanize the support of the colored vote. And they will also face very serious difficulties. I mean, this is a party that does not seem to have real big mass appeal. So the maintenance, the trick will be how does it maintain its contact with the plus minus 70,000 votes that it has got in the past, and how does it change those to concrete vote going to these elections?
Thobani, the launch was online. How accessible is this strategy if we compare to some of the other launches that we've seen, the other manifesto launches against the other political parties? And also just looking at Patricia de Lille, her stance, her credentials over the past years in South Africa's political landscape and 30-year dispensation for democracy. What are you observing from the PAC, the ID, the DA, now at the Good Party at the helm of it?
The first part you to speak about is the issue of holding a political manifesto online. Of course, if you understand South Africa's challenges with the digital divide, you then know that such a manifesto will not be easily accessible. A manifesto launch will not be easily accessible to all the people of South Africa. In particular, the demographic that seems to be the voters of the Good Party. I mean, I will have suggested that such a manifesto launch of the Good Party must be hosted where the majority of these voters are, because you need to consolidate that. But there are many challenges and many things that have changed since 2019 in the political landscape. You need, as a political party that does not have much mass appeal, as I said, and does not have a consistent political activism, to really consolidate the only vote that you have. In regards to the leader of the party, Patricia de Lille, I mean, we have seen her many ideological spins and turns, from the radical Pan-Africanist Congress, which is a Pan-Africanist organization, to the ID, which of course adopted almost the same moves with the Good Party today as a social democratic movement, to the liberal DA with its association to the white minority in South Africa, and of course its connotations around that. So we have seen a leader that's almost has changed her mind around ideological convictions over the years, which seems to be a leader that's stable. And of course, it's wrong for one to speak their minds and their convictions. But it seems that there's no real establishment of goodwill on the basis. Why does the idea change? I mean, when you change from a radical Pan-Africanist Congress like the PAC to a somewhat liberal social democratic movement like the Good Party, there really must be something that has happened, ideological conviction that makes such a big ideological shift to happen.